in Chicago. They're fighting it like you wouldn't believe. We don't want any National Guard in Chicago. And you know what else? We're going to make sure that ICE can't come to Chicago because we don't care how many illegal criminals are here. In fact, we don't care how many criminals are here. We don't want anybody going to jail. We don't actually want to penalize crime. It's going to be a big giant free-for-all, as though things weren't bad enough on the south side of Chicago as it is. Brandon's got big plans for you there, guys. Lovely.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
It's racist to put people in jail. You heard it from the guy who's like got actually horrible, horrible numbers on crime. Streets of Chicago, some of the most dangerous in the world, okay? Not in the country, in the world. And he says, we're not going to send anybody to jail because it's racist? Excuse me. Okay, listen. There's a lot of things that can be done to solve for challenges. We ran a short the other day. This was fantastic. It was a group of economists, and there were several that were Black economists, and they were saying, you know, here's the differentiating factor here. You know, when you look at families that have a mother and father and, you know, went to college, you know, those families actually do really, really, really well. And it has nothing to do with race. So what is the answer? All day long, you know what you can take away from that? It is family. Let me see if I can find it for you, because I just thought it was a brilliant thing for him to have said, and a brave thing. Because, yeah, ever since Johnson, frankly, Lyndon Johnson, who decided to really screw things up by incentivizing people with the wrong things, right? Money if you don't have a man in the house, money if you don't work. It's like, well, you know, of course. And that really screwed people up, you know, for generations. And we got to get away from that. We don't want to go back to the Mamdamis and the Lyndon Johnson types of the world. We got to get away from that. And I think a lot of people in Chicago know that. And I think a lot of people, you know, everywhere know that. I really want to show you this. I'm going to see if I can find it for you, because I think it's well put, it's well said, and it's worth hearing, guys. It really is. So let me continue looking for that, because I'm not going to be able to do it justice the way this guy could. But in the meantime, think about this. You know, Eric Swalwell saying a similar thing. This guy wants to run for governor, by the way, out in California, take over Gavin Newsom's slot. The guy who had I don't know what we call it, with Fang Fang. What a name. I realize it's a cultural difference and it's a different language, but wow, he really liked Fang Fang. So much so that the FBI had to alert him about Fang Fang. And then Fang Fang disappeared, like just into thin air. We don't know what happened to Fang Fang. Apparently her handlers in China must have called her back. Anyway, here's Eric, baby, talking on one of those networks. Oh, the Miz Network. About how you can't go into places like Chicago or California, for that matter.
Where is the rule of law in the United States today?
It's a lawless United States. The Department of Homeland Security should just change its name, because that's not what they are doing right now as they chase our immigrant community. But we have to, as Democrats, make it clear to Republicans, as we seek and intend to go into the majority, that they are going to have to answer for this, and it's all coming out. Because I promise you, right now, they think they're invincible. They let these ICE agents be invisible, and they don't think we have the balls to hold them accountable. Because they look at the way we've acted in the past, where we didn't flex when we had power. And it's not about retribution. It's about accountability.
Yeah, you don't have the balls to do anything. Honestly, just saying. And I bet you Fang Fang would agree with that. Anyway, I digress. The point being, they want this retribution, and it's a really dangerous type of thing. So Chicago now, D.C., all at the epicenter of it. Remember, I promised you, as we looked at Brandon Johnson saying that jail was racist and we have to fix for all this racism. Here's I'm going to be honest, what's really going on, and don't forget, America elected a black president, not once, but twice. Okay? So don't give me that crap anymore. You actually have to fix your cities, and there's a way to do it.
When you do look at the racial wealth gap, yes, there is a gap. Based on 2019 data, the median wealth of the average white family is about $160,000 more than the median wealth of the average black family. But take into account just two other factors: family structure and education. The median wealth of the average married, college-educated black family is about $160,000 more than the median wealth of an average single-parent white family. So perhaps there are factors beyond just race that, if we were being honest in this conversation, we could collectively tackle and come up with solutions.
In other words, despite what BLM wants to tell you, family matters. Yeah. Okay? So, Brandon, you might actually want to think about that before you think about letting everybody loose out of jail, because, you know, it's racist to jail people. And, of course, you know, according to the Dems, it's illegal to send the National Guard to D.C., as Donald Trump is doing with 500 more going in, or to Chicago or California or Charlotte or anywhere else.
What the specific illegal acts are that your Democratic colleagues were referring to there?
Well, it's very clear in this code for the military that you cannot follow unlawful orders. And, you know, that would be, I'll just use an example. Some of the judges have now found in certain cities that it is not legal to send in the National Guard. And those National Guard members have come home. Some of them are still there. But if their commander were to tell them, hey, go out on the streets and do this and that, that's not following the order that is in law. So I just use that example. I'm sure.
You just use that example. I'm sure there are more, she says. Okay, so what about the 500 National Guard troops that have just been ordered to D.C.? Are you going to go back after the fact and arrest all of them? That's what they're actually saying they're going to do. So I'm going to change this. We're saying Democrats are throwing whatever at the wall. No, they're more than throwing. They're like lighting this thing on fire with kerosene. I don't even know what to say about them right now, because they are trying to stir I'll just put it on here. You know what? I hate to say this, but this is exactly what they're doing. That's what this is. They're trying to get some kind of civil war going on. And it's just gross. And they've got to stop, because it's getting dangerous at this point. It's just unacceptable.